Fox 2 presents Hancock and Kelly.
And good Sunday morning. Welcome to Hancock and Kelly on Fox 2, where we take on the top issues of the week. On the right is John Hancock.
Good morning.
On the left, Michael Kelly.
Happy Sunday.
And I'm Andy Banker. On the agenda, another new low in St. Louis crime. Police catch a teenage gunman who fired a shot during a carjacking. He was released. Police caught him again the next night in another carjacking a mile away. St. Louis County Executive Sam Page was indicted last week. This week, he gets primaried, and by a very worthy opponent. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker reaches out to Texas Democrats fighting against Republican gerrymandering in that state. But Pritzker himself is a prince of gerrymandering in his own backyard. And a City SC fan gets booted from St. Louis's sparkling soccer stadium for wearing a MAGA hat. It's our quote of the week. Also, anti-Semitic car fires in Clayton, school district woes from St. Louis to St. Charles County. Plus, remember the snowplow crisis in the city of St. Louis? Help finally arrives in August. We begin with two carjackings in St. Louis. Police say they captured the same 16-year-old gunman for both crimes on back-to-back nights. Somehow he was released to a guardian after the first crime and then was back at it within 24 hours.
These back-to-back violent crimes highlight the continued challenges that our community faces, though, especially when it comes to violent crimes involving juveniles.
Police say they arrested 4 teenage suspects for calling an Uber driver to pick them up, then stealing the 67-year-old victim's car at gunpoint. 2 officers suffered minor injuries in the pursuit. That was the first crime. Police believe all 4 suspects pulled the same thing on a Lyft driver the very next night after being released from juvenile custody to their parents or guardians after the first offense. Officers were only able to capture the 16-year-old driver in the second case. John, reforming the juvenile justice system is a state matter. Should the governor get involved here? Should the mayor be calling for the governor and state lawmakers to do something about this?
Well, I think we need to be looking at the way we're dealing with juveniles. The crime age of commission is going down. And a 16-year-old kid that's going to do this twice, knowing that there's no real repercussions, is a problem.
With a gun?
With a gun. And, I used to watch, I'm a little older than you guys, but there used to be a show on called Beretta.
Yeah.
Remember Beretta?
Robert Blake.
Robert Blake, and
Bird.
it's that if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. And I think these violent offenders using a handgun need to be locked up, regardless of how old they are, and that probably does require some statutory changes, but we ought to seriously look at it.
I mean, police are crying out for help now. They're not just being quiet about this anymore. They're saying, hey, look, we're up against it.
Well, and these juveniles know that they're not going to be thrown in jail with the key. And I'm sorry, if it's a gun, I don't care if you're 8 years old or you're 80. You should be gone. It should be done. Gun crimes, 24 hours later, they're back out doing this. There's really no excuse. We need some statutory change as it relates to juvenile justice, especially if a crime involves a gun. They should never get out.
And I bet you if you talk to the police officers, they tell you,
It was
don't
the
fire
same
here.
cops arresting the same kids.
Yeah.
Anti-Semitism rages on in America and right here in St. Louis County. Police are investigating 3 car fires in Clayton early Tuesday morning as anti-Semitic hate crimes. Graffiti on the street near the burning cars read, "Death to the IDF, Israeli Defense Force." The FBI and St. Louis Regional Bomb and Arson Squad are on the case. Michael, Republicans like to point fingers at Democrats for fueling this anti-Semitic behavior because of the rhetoric coming from pro-Palestinian protesters and the like. Is that fair?
I don't know. We don't know much about this yet, right? It's obviously, we know it to be a hate crime and anti-Semitic, what the motivation was. They don't even have a suspect, to my knowledge, yet, as to what's going on here. It's a scary time that anti-Semitism continues to go, and I would have never have thought that it would show up in Clayton in this form. I hope they get to the bottom of this and hold these people accountable under the hate crime laws, because I think it helps send a larger message.
Is there something going on here? I mean, is this coming from somewhere?
Yeah, it's coming from somewhere. And burning up cars, that's a crime. Defacing property, that's a crime. Hate inducement, that's a crime. They need to find this person or these people. I can't believe they didn't have some kind of CTV system out there that captured who this might have been and, caught it on camera.
But is it a more systemic thing? I mean,
Yes.
you got it. Well, what do you do about it? If anti-Semitism is on the rise, what's causing it, and then how do you stop it?
Well, it all comes down to education, and unfortunately, we have a lot of people who deny that even takes place, anti-Semitism, and I think education's the first key, and not tolerating nor accepting it and getting to the bottom of it.
We had the couple shot in D.C. We
Right.
had the folks that were doing a peaceful demonstration shot at. This thing here, I mean, it is throughout the country, and it's bad, and it's illegal, and people ought to pay for it.
Does it stem from allowing, all the rhetoric on campuses across America?
It doesn't help.
And
The campus
takeover
rhetoric
of
doesn't
college
help.
campuses by
I think it has to do
pro-Palestinian.
with these devices that have 24/7 of hatred coming into your head, and it's helping influence.
And don't forget, Iran is funding a lot of this, the protests and bringing in people to foment unrest. This is coordinated.
Well, it may be an election issue for St. Louis County State Senator Brian Williams, who just announced that he's running for the job of County Executive Sam Page, a fellow Democrat. Williams is the twice elected senator representing the diverse 14th district, which includes Ladue, U-City, and Ferguson. He says he will build a stronger, safer St. Louis County where every neighborhood has a chance to thrive. Michael, with Sam Page just getting indicted for allegedly using taxpayer money on campaign mailers to defeat Proposition B in April, is Williams already the front runner here?
I don't know that he's a front runner. I definitely think that we have a contest here, the first one we've seen in a couple of decades of substance, or a little more less than a couple of decades. And the fact that you're going to have two very well-funded candidates going against each other. Sam Page finds himself in a horrible spot, independent of his indictments. He had united the entire council, both Democrats and Republicans, against him. People are frustrated with St. Louis County being a place of conflict rather than a place of getting things done. I think Brian Williams has a powerful message in saying, hey, I want to find cooperation and bring back the sleepy days of get along, go along to St. Louis County.
Is he ready to lead the largest county in the state of Missouri?
If he can get along with others, he sure could make that case. And right now, the county executive and the county council, we're running to stand still in St. Louis County because these folks aren't getting anything done together.
Now, if it happens, Page is still not declared he's running for re-election, right? But it would be a Democratic primary,
Sure.
and then the winner would face a Republican. Is it too late for a Republican to ever win in St. Louis County again?
Well,
it
a
a lost
Republican
cause?
last won the county executive's race in 1986, Andy. That was a long time ago. I had a lot of hair then. And so, yeah. But now I will say this. In the olden days, if you were walking around with a handful of indictments, it usually was not good politically for you. Who knows these days? But I think Page is wounded. I suspect Page will not run. And he may not even be the county executive by the time the elections roll around in 2026. And I think if that's the case, I think the Democratic primary field will get larger, but I think Williams is the clear front runner.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker inserts himself into the Texas gerrymandering crisis, hosting Democrat Texas lawmakers who have gone AWOL from their state legislature to stall a vote on redrawing the Texas congressional map so Republicans can gain up to 5 seats in Congress. Texas Republican Senator John Cornyn is calling for the FBI to intervene and bring those Democrat holdouts back to Texas.
I welcome the FBI coming to the state. I hope they take in the state fair. I hope they go see the beauty of Lake Michigan. Yeah, adventure awaits for all of them, but they won't be arresting anyone because there is no U.S. federal law that prohibits those Texas House Democrats from being here in the state of Illinois.
As Pritzker takes a stand against gerrymandering, he's being called out for engineering it in his own state in 2022 to steal a Republican seat in Congress from Southern Illinois. It's so bad that if Republican Congresswoman Mary Miller wants to drive from Highland to Godfrey in Madison County without leaving her district, she has to go around a Democrat district drawn from East St. Louis to Champaign. It's a 35-mile drive if you just go normal, but if she wants to stay in her district, it would be closer to 400 miles. Is that the way it ought to be, Michael?
Well,
does Pritzker have any credibility here?
Well, I think he does because he's actually followed the norm, which is every 10 years we go through this process, and guess what parties and states do? They gerrymander for their parties. That's not what we're witnessing happening in Texas. They've said, oh my goodness, we're going to lose control of the legislature. Even though we do this every 10 years, we are going to do this now. So I don't think it's a like-same comparison to say that J.B. Pritzker's a gerrymanderer. So is Governor Abbott. They all gerrymander. The question is whether or not we ought to be doing this in the middle of these 10 years and uprooting our government potentially every 2 years because we don't like the way the lines are drawn. Gerrymander every 10 years if you want.
Pritzker, running for a third term as governor, a presumptive candidate for president of the United States in 2028. His unfavorable rating in Illinois just topped 50%.
Not surprised.
Is Illinois sick of him?
Yeah, and they should be. And you look at that map. The original gerrymander was Elbridge Gerry in Massachusetts, and they called it gerrymander because it looked like a salamander. And that worm-looking thing that they drew in Illinois is one of the worst districts I have ever seen anywhere. And look, everybody tries to maximize their advantages on redistricting, but that district is beyond ridiculous.
But this idea that we're going to do it every 2 years because we're afraid what way it's going to go. If you want to gerrymander, you're given an opportunity to do it every 10 years. Now Missouri's going to be thrown into this mix. California, Maine, this isn't the way that you run a railroad.
Yeah, and it's not good. It's not good politics either.
Up next, public school districts in crisis from the city of St. Louis to Francis Howell in St. Charles County.
To hear more, listen to the podcast. Just search for Hancock and Kelly.
Missouri State Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick releases a devastating report after an audit of the dysfunctional St. Louis City Public School District. He says the way it's going, there won't be enough money to run the district by the year 2031.
There's still time to avert that disaster, but as our report also identifies, the kind of planning that needs to take place to ensure the long-term financial future of the district simply has not happened.
The district has gone from budget surpluses to projected yearly deficits of more than $30 million. The audit highlights expenditures under now fired Superintendent Dr. Keisha Scarlett, including nearly $3.5 million to employees for attendance incentives in violation of the state constitution, $15,000 in unauthorized moving expenses for a staff member, $4,000 for a Top Golf venue rental, $3,300 in overpayment for Scarlett's own moving expenses from Seattle, $1,700 for a 4-night stay at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas, $1,200 more for flight upgrades, and the list goes on and on and on, John. And this is only part one of the audit findings.
Well, the school board brought this woman in from Seattle. They ripped off the district. She and her cronies ripped off the district, and now we're left holding the bag. They're going to have to cut their budget. They're going to have to close some schools. They're going to have to reform how they're conducting their internal accounting. And they need to get a superintendent in here that knows what they're doing. Finding that person is not going to be easy. This is a very serious problem. Fitzpatrick's right. It is fixable. There's some period of time, but they're going to have to fix it. Otherwise, I think we ought to bring in a state school board like we did years ago when the district lost accreditation, because that's where this is headed. Not just the being broke, they're going to lose accreditation at some point.
I was just going to ask you, the state took over the city police department, at least control of it. Should they do the same thing for the school district?
Yeah, and it's so sad, right? I'm 50 years old. My entire life, there has been a story about the failing St. Louis public schools. That's a half a century of the kids who are suffering in this situation in the city of St. Louis. And, we temporarily find Band-Aids where the state's going to come in and do it, and then we get all this nonsense that we've just experienced. Yeah, I think it is time for some type of state intervention. Let's get this thing righted, and I'm not sure that the city of St. Louis and the voters there are able to run a school district.
There's also turmoil in the Francis Howell School District, one of the area's largest. It's in St. Charles County. The school board there voted to pay new superintendent Dr. Mike Dominguez nearly $230,000 to resign and quit the job before he even started it. He's already taken another job as an assistant superintendent in Oklahoma. The board will only say this is the result of, quote, unforeseen circumstances, end quote. The move comes after Democrats took control of the school board from conservatives in the April election. Is that good enough, John? Unforeseen circumstances?
No, they got to come clean. I mean, that's public money. That's $230,000 of public money to pay somebody not to do anything. And by the way, if the good people at Nexstar would like me to go away, $230,000 is a pretty good number. Yeah. But I think they've got a duty. I think they've got a duty here to disclose to the public, because those are taxpayer funds that are being squandered.
John lays a buyout offer on the table. You sound like Eric Fetty, the former Cardinal pitcher.
Yeah, just
$230,000 for what?
Right.
Shouldn't they answer
to get
for
to
what?
leave? I want
Right.
to go to apply at Francis Howell in the hopes they send me away.
But don't the taxpayers who
Yeah, absolutely.
deserve an answer?
Look, if this is politically motivated, this board didn't like the person, I guess that's fine. That's their prerogative. They ought to explain what they've done. $250,000? Think of how many kids that could be educating. The taxpayers deserve answers.
Still to come, carjacking, snowplows, and street sweepers. Do they add up to progress in the city of St. Louis? And a soccer fan in St. Louis makes news around the world, getting kicked out of our soccer stadium for wearing a MAGA hat. It's our quote of the week. With all that's going wrong in the city of St. Louis, Mayor Kara Spencer shows off something she says is going right. That's her behind the wheel of the new mini street sweeper, small enough to fit in the city's bike lanes. That's what it will be used for. Also of note, there's word now the city has finally taken delivery on smaller snowplow blades that will fit down city streets. Unplowed streets after a snow and ice storm this past winter led to a crisis in the city for more than a week after streets were cleared almost everywhere else. Are things getting better in the city of St. Louis? Michael.
Well, I think that's definitely the impression that the mayor's trying to get. I'm not a big fan of these when these politicians try to go and pretend like they're doing the job. And I don't know that the street sweeping of the bike lanes is necessarily the most pressing issue that most of us remember after that snowstorm that took place.
They filled a lot of potholes, but there's still a lot of them out there.
But it is a mayor who's showing, hey, I care and I'm delivering on my promises. So kudos to her.
John, you ready to go for a bike ride downtown?
No, thanks. But I'll tell you what, if you got the mayor sweeping the streets out there, that's saving a lot of money. So, all power to her.
Time for our quote of the week. Soccer fan Michael Weitzel got kicked out of a St. Louis City SC soccer game for wearing a MAGA hat.
I'm being evicted from the premises because of Donald Trump, because we can't wear Donald Trump hats in public.
Now, fellow fans say he wasn't being rowdy, he wasn't in people's faces with the hat, he was just simply watching the game and wearing the hat. Staff escorted him from Energizer Park, apparently solely because of the hat. The policy is our quote of the week. It says, displaying signs, symbols, images for commercial purposes, electioneering, campaigning, advocating for or against any candidate, political party, legislative issues, or government action is prohibited at the stadium, and he was in violation of that policy, Michael. But he says it doesn't seem to be equally applied for people wearing pride gear or waving pride flags or Black Lives Matter t-shirts.
Should he have gotten kicked out? I don't know. Clearly, it was a violation of their own policy, and they had the right to do it. I think if you're a person who walks around with a MAGA hat on, you're already telling the world something about yourself that they may have already assumed. So I'm not sure that the punishment fit the crime, but it is their prerogative. This was a privately funded building, and these are the rules. I thought that the MAGA folks like people who abide by rules.
Yeah, he didn't get kicked out of a Board of Aldermen meeting. This was a soccer game and a privately owned soccer
Yeah, he's
game.
also a season ticket holder. Really bad PR. And they do have pride flags flying at the stadium. They do have transgender flags flying at the stadium. This is where you get in trouble restricting speech. Because where do you stop? Whose speech are you going to restrict? It's just a bad look. And if a guy wants to, now, if he's acting up, if he's getting in people's faces, you kick him out. But if he's standing there and watching them lose, then, he ought to be able to stay.
What is it about a MAGA hat that riles people more than a pride flag?
Oh, I think it says something about yourself to many people. If you choose to walk around with a MAGA hat, I automatically assume things about those folks. So it could be insightful to those that wanted to do it. Somebody complained. I don't think the crime meets the punishment.
We need to allow speech in this country.
Even at a private stadium?
Yes.
Even if it's against the rules at the stadium? Final thoughts are next. First, Drone Fox over Wentzville and a massive paint job. How'd you like to be in that rig? Putting a new coat on a water tower. Yikes. Final thoughts. Michael Kelly, what's on your mind?
Well, it's interesting, right? The two most consequential elections that are probably going to happen in the region next year are the St. Louis County and the St. Charles County executives, the two largest counties. Both of those elections will be decided in August. not in November when most people go to vote.
John?
You know, watching the mayor drive that sweeper down the street got me to thinking, Andy, brand new sweeper out there. Imagine what this year might have been if Miles Michaelis had gotten a brand new sweeper over the offseason. He might be striking out batters. He might be 10-4 right now, and things could have been different. A brand new sweeper.
You mean
Kara Spencer may have given the Cardinals the answer for the future, and we thank her for it.
He's referring to the pitch. A lot of people might not know, but
These people know.
the sweeper is
our audience is the most informed audience in this city.
Sweeper's one of the hottest pitches in baseball, right?
It's all the rage.
Thanks for watching Hancock and Kelly. Fox News Sunday is next. And remember, if it's Sunday in St. Louis, it's Hancock and Kelly on Fox 2. We'll see you right back here next Sunday.